Hello and welcome. This is Kathleen Lovito, and I will be your host for today's webinar on AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust's new portfolio review. Our presenter today is Katie Gushen, Relationship Manager with AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust. Before we begin, here's a quick background on the association. This webinar series is brought to you by AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust. Our mission is to be the premier provider of financial planning, investment management, and trust services to the American Armed Forces community. AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust is a fully owned subsidiary of AAFMAA. AAFMAA has proudly served America's armed forces since 1879. AAFMAA is a nonprofit, tax-exempt 501c23 member-owned mutual aid association offering life insurance and other financial services to all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces and their families. And just a few disclaimers before we begin. This presentation is educational. It's for general information only and not specific investment, legal, or tax advice for any individual. Do not rely on this presentation alone to guide your investment management decisions. Since each situation is unique, your needs for financial services will differ. For individual advice, please contact us directly. We produce this webinar series in-house with our own professional staff as a service to our members to help them better understand the resources available to them. We have highlighted here two distinct characteristics that separate AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust from other service providers. One, our fiduciary standard, which requires us to always act in our client's best interest. And two, we exclusively served the American U.S. Armed Forces community. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Katie to begin the presentation.
Thanks, Kathleen. I'll go ahead and start here. So we center our investment philosophy on doing the right thing for you. We base decisions on a patient long-term perspective. The single most important determinant of investment success lies in properly matching your asset allocation to your tolerance for long-term market volatility. While we believe firmly in the power of a long-term, focused, and properly allocated portfolio, we also are keenly aware of the need to mitigate risk wherever possible. Our investment process relies on the application of diversification strategies within your portfolio. So by dividing a portfolio among carefully selected asset classes, you can maximize potential return at the level of risk you're willing to accept. We walk through this today, starting with our philosophy, then shifting to our process, reviewing our risk assessment process, and then closing with a quick look at the portfolio report we provide each client. And we'll go to the next slide. So our philosophy remains consistent. We believe in building portfolios by analyzing over economic factors and by deep fundamental analysis on specific companies. So we start at the top by analyzing the current economic factors. We then move into more detail as we drop down in the portfolio, considering the objectives of the portfolio and the right type of investment to focus on that objective. Same philosophy. So number one, we are a fiduciary. We center our investment philosophy on doing the right thing for you. We base decisions on a patient long-term perspective. The single most important determinant of investment success lies in properly matching your asset allocation to your tolerance for short-term market volatility. So this alone accounts for up to 90% of the portfolio return. We have the same philosophy. We manage the risk for our clients. We do not avoid it. We focus on maximizing after-tax returns. And we have a long-term perspective. So we believe in the power of a long-term, focused, and properly allocated portfolio. And we have the same process. So again, as we look at the portfolio objectives, we can adjust our strategy around the risk. This could include a well-diversified portfolio or a dividend-focused strategy that could include more income. It could be focused on individual security positions. The strategy adjustments are specific. And looking at return versus volatility. So the concept of risk and one of its primary components, volatility and return, can never be overstated when selecting investments. So as you can see in this picture, fixed income occupies the lowest part of the graphic. When it comes to risk versus volatility in an all equity portfolio or an all stock portfolio with the highest return, with the highest assumption of risk in your portfolio, your AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust relationship manager and our portfolio managers help you to secure a portfolio which suits your needs both in the short term and the longer term. And then how does AWM&T define investment management? So investment management is, as you would likely assume, an ongoing process of understanding your financial goals and determining the optimum portfolio, then monitoring and adjusting as necessary over time. The partnership you have with AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust is one that never sits still. Your investment goals change over time, and we constantly work with each client to consider the quality, the suitability, costs, and performance of their investment strategy as it relates to their portfolio. So we adjust portfolios according to your needs and our understanding of your goals. Each investment vehicle recommended for an AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust is consistently scrutinized using the criteria illustrated here. Next, we take a look at your goals. So you define your goals, and then we work to define how we should manage your assets to best achieve them. So the more information that you provide us, the better understanding we will have of your goals and needs. Short-term, long-term, as you fill out the risk tolerance questionnaire, you will note we have an open box to include any information you think should be taken into consideration. So no information is insignificant. If you're planning to travel, if you're wanting to help your children buy their first house, are you confident that you'll have enough cash to deal with any potential emergency or unexpected issue? Things like long-term care, anything like that. So why have you invested the way you have in the past? Is picking investments a hobby for you? No information is insignificant. Okay. And taking a closer look at your goals. So what goes into construction of the portfolio? So some people may consider the construction of an investment portfolio to be like building your dream house, from the ground up versus buying an existing structure. So the existing home is one that meets your basic needs. The dream home is your idea of exactly what you want and how and where you want it, right down to the manufacturer of the shingles and electrical outlets. So your role in construction and our role in construction, while you may have a vision of what your dream home will look like, most of us do not have the skill set to bring that dream alive. So the same is true for building an investment portfolio. In both cases, we hire an architect to take the concept to reality. So for your portfolio, you tell us what your goals are, what you want to achieve, and how aggressively we need to pursue growing the portfolio. So like an architect building your house, we are going to build a portfolio to your specifications. Every piece of data you give us is taken into consideration. So additions and changes to your portfolio, we all know that plans can change for a number of reasons. That's why we at AAFMAA Wealth Management Trust review the portfolio, sometimes recommending adjustments to meet the changes in your life and your concept of a proper investment portfolio. And we'll go ahead on to the risk tolerance questionnaire. So as I mentioned earlier, the portfolio review process starts with our risk tolerance questionnaire. Portfolio construction is a combination of science and art. The science is a simple part of walking through the questionnaire. The art behind the construction comes from the discussion and what each client tells us about themselves. The more information we have, the better. The risk assessment is the cornerstone of the construction process. because it's the cornerstone of providing the right investment service to handle short-term needs and focus on long-term success. I wanted to give everyone a quick walkthrough of what exactly this process looks like. Okay, so this is where we start. We will send you a link to your dedicated questionnaire. All you have to do when you open the link, you will see this page, and all you do is click Get Started. You can see that down at the bottom. So up front, we will ask you a few questions on your objectives and goals. We provide a few simple suggestions for common goals our clients have, but you can also add a custom goal if yours isn't captured in this list. Again, the more information and the more accurate you are with your goals, the better your discussion will be with a relationship manager. So you would look at this sheet here, and John would select, what his goals are. So retirement, wealth accumulation, paying down debt, maybe saving for grandkids' college, or you can add a, custom goal in there. If you and your wife currently travel, or you'd like to travel every month, you can add that in there as well. And on to the next slide. Your next slide will be to talk about your financial status. So we also want to capture if there are any major financial considerations on your horizon. Maybe you're getting a big promotion at work. Maybe there are changes with your family. Maybe you're buying a house, a boat, a car. These can all be big financial considerations as you assess your investment strategy. And the next slide. So risk and reward go hand in hand. When you get to this page, it's going to ask you to quantify that risk and reward. So we're going to move towards what you want. We look at the long-term return goals for your investment strategies, and we look at the short-term volatility that may impact that return. So it's understanding the impact of volatility and being able to handle that volatility that keeps you successful over the long run. Okay, so then the next question in the risk tolerance questionnaire is going to be to put your comfort zone to the test. So once we have a good idea about the level of comfort with the risk and volatility of the portfolio, we fine-tune that assessment with a series of questions. And these questions will slowly make adjustments to get your risk level. And this is what will determine what we like to call your risk number. And then after you have input all that information, it's going to send your results back to me or back to your relationship manager, and we will construct a portfolio review. So the purpose of the portfolio review is not to criticize or pass judgment on past investment choices. The purpose is to help each client visualize if the investment decision made in the past, is still in line with your risk tolerance. So what your goals are for your money now versus when the investment was made, the changes to your time horizons. So as time goes on, the need for the preservation of capital will have changed as well. And our process and our discussion will show you options for mitigating that risk and help make investment decisions. So we will start with the risk number established through the questionnaire. The risk number reviews your comfort level with risk. We will then compare that comfort level with the current allocation strategy of your portfolio. We will go into various portfolio stress tests. So we then assess the changes in the portfolio, with these stress tests, looking at recent market changes and the specific impact that this can have on the portfolio. So this really helps our clients understand the risk and change of the portfolio, relating back to real life examples helps people see and understand those potential impacts. So during the process, we also review alternate portfolios. Maybe a higher level of return is needed, or a higher level of risk is comfortable. Maybe less return and less risk is also being considered. So we provide a few scenarios around your risk level. We understand the impact of the changes and then focus on developing the right strategy. Our goal is to provide a full review of your current portfolio and a full review of potential adjustments in that portfolio. Considering a strategy can potentially provide more efficiency in the overall risk and return of the portfolio. We don't make that decision for our clients. We help our clients understand their portfolio, understand or discuss, the right strategy, and then help them to execute that strategy. What do you get from a portfolio review? So this is what you'll always get from us: an unbiased review of your current investments, an opportunity to reevaluate your time horizons, an opportunity to reevaluate your investment goals, and an opportunity to look at different strategies designed around your goals. Is AWM&T right for you? The AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust Portfolio Review is where we start our relationship. There are no costs of any kind involved in this service. We want our clients to be fully educated on what they are doing now, what may happen to their investments in the future, and what AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust can do for them going forward. So we're not market timers. We don't have a crystal ball. We're here to provide you with growth of the assets with an eye towards mitigation of risk wherever possible. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me directly. So as Kathleen mentioned in the beginning of this presentation, my name is Katie Gushen. I am a relationship manager for AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust. My business cell phone is listed at the top, 248-369-5698. And email address listed there as well, kgushen@afma.com. And just a few disclosures that were also read in the beginning of the presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you for joining me, and have a good day.